I'm delighted to welcome as my first guest today, Wayne Chasan. He's a photographer, but that title really doesn't do him justice because he's so much more than what one would think of as a photographer. Wayne, how lovely to see you and have you on Marbella Now.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me back once again. It's been a
It's an
long time.
absolute pleasure and so much to catch up on.
Yeah.
You have had a busy summer.
Yes.
And so much more to come, and I'm really delighted I get to share all your successes and excitement with our viewers. Congratulations, firstly, because you've won awards, you've been recognized for the excellence of your photography, you've just come back from South Africa, launching a new website, I suppose, to be able to share all these amazing things. And also, I love that you have the history of Marbella as part of your history, because it's something that those of us who have been here a long time really appreciate.
I feel a bit of a, not a bit, I feel entirely an adoptive person of Marbella. It really is. It's been such a part of my history because the first 20 years of my life, I bounced around like a ping pong ball and didn't really have roots anywhere. If anything, in California, but I bounced all over California. So it wasn't actually till I came to Marbella, which wasn't my intention originally. It was sort of a happy accident and destiny, I suppose, that I've now wound up living here since 82, 83. We're talking over 40 years.
Like me, I moved out here in 80. Yeah.
I have roots.
And what a change.
Yeah, it is. It really has transformed.
Yeah, I wonder if you agree, because I've also known Marbella. I used to come as a child in the 60s. I've been here I've really seen Marbella grow. But even with the expansion, I still feel it's the same village that I lived in the 80s. Do you have that same perception?
I do. I think, it's really interesting because there's lots of circles of people here, and sometimes they overlap and sometimes they don't. And I run into people and this is somebody really interesting. How long have you been here? And they go like 20 years. And I'm like, 20 years? I've been here 40 and we haven't met yet. And so it's kind of like a village, but at the same time, it's sort of turned into a bustling city.
That is different because back in the 80s,
both.
there was maybe 3 handfuls of foreigners, and we didn't all know each other, and maybe we wouldn't have been friends back home, but we kind of made it all together because
you'd park anywhere you wanted to go to
that
in
was
front
where
of the door. Yeah.
But now we do, and also we have the different nationality groups that they tend to live in selected areas, which I suppose makes sense with the familiarity.
I think it's very exciting. I mean, it's a different Marbella, and it's logical that things change and progress. And I think that, there's both good and bad to the expansion, but I like to look at it in a positive sense. I think there's a lot of fascinating people who are entering Marbella as well and providing a great benefit eventually, I hope.
Yeah,
I truly do.
I do. Same here. We have to look on the bright side. And the nice thing is that we still get to be here and enjoy everything about it. And helping each other is a big part of that. And understanding what each of us does also. You've been taking photographs, but not just any photographs. You specialize in architecture. But at the same time, you've won your awards for your waterworks.
It's very interesting. I don't enter a lot of contests, but the ones I have, I won the award for industrial photography in Spain with the Spanish Photographers Association a long time ago, launching the Oleicula Hojiblanca olive oil brand. Now I've been honored with in the series category, 5 images of the best beauty fashion photography by the American Society of Media Photographers. So that was quite surprising to win awards outside of. But I don't like to be keyholed. I mean, I'm highly specialized in architecture and interiors for any type of client where that's involved. But anything that I feel I can do well, anything that I have a passion about, I'll jump into. If I don't think I can, I'm not going to offer that to the client because no one wants to risk.
But if you see it in that,
if I know I can do it, I don't care if it's fashion. I mean, the fashion shoot was really interesting. It was somebody who was not from the fashion world, who had passion, wanted to launch this special, her own line, which was blending West African with European style, and it was a small one-day shoot. We set up a portable studio. We took it to her office space so we could do the product photography in the morning. But what I was dying to do was get outside at sort of sunset twilight. We had 1 or 2 hours for that, and take this little series of photos that wound up winning the award. It was very interesting because I sent in 5 things. I was like, oh, what am I going to send? And the other, out of the 5, I won for 2. Actually, the other one was single, the category of single architectural photography, judges second choice. So yeah, it was
Congratulations.
nice. It's nice. I don't do that a lot, and so, sometimes you do, and you go, oh well, that didn't go anywhere, and so this was lovely.
It
I
is
actually
nice.
won it before back in 2007, which I guess means that I'm an old fuddy-duddy for the Canon 50th anniversary campaign in Europe. I got the Best of 2007 award from the same.
It's nice to get rewarded, or it's
It
recognition. It's
is.
not the
It's
reward.
nice.
It's that recognition that
Yeah,
someone sees
it is.
what you've managed to pull off. And you've just come back from
So
South
it's really
Africa.
funny actually because South Africa, aside from the job, I went to meet a networking colleague who had a very interesting project there. And I went, I'm traveling 30 hours. I'll travel an extra hour to go meet him in person and see the project. And hopefully that will be coming to fruition. But it was interesting because he said to me, I've mentioned you to the promoter here in South Africa, and he knew your name. He knew of you. And I went, oh, okay. Well, that's
As you say,
nice.
you've got your decades under the
Yeah,
belt, and that testament to your excellence.
yeah,
First of all, you're still going.
yeah.
That, and in Marbella, normally business is an average 18 months. So you've been going now 40 something years
40
here.
something years. Yeah, 40 something years, and still with somehow, I don't know how, with the same passion, dedication. I mean, my top worldwide client, the first time we went to do a job for them, which, well, no, actually, backtrack. The first 10 years I was doing photography for them. The second 10 years I've been doing photography and mentoring and consultation for them. And the first job I did of that second phase, I went to meet them in Tokyo. It was a 5-day shoot. And I said, the first thing we have to do is plan. We need to look at each space, figure out what angle, jot down what time of day is the best time of day for it, second best time of day, and maybe even a third one because you don't know if you have the same slots for. And then the second half of the day, we walked around and tried to get access to buildings to photograph their building because we couldn't use drones and we couldn't use cranes. And when we finished, the client came to me and said, "Oh my God, we've suddenly moved the deadline ahead. We only have 3 days to do the job." And I said, "Now we know how to do it in 3 days. If we hadn't done this pre-production, we wouldn't have been able to do it in 5 days. But now that we know where to be and when, we simply won't sleep because you do twilight photography, which is beautiful, is sort of like half an hour after sunset, and it lasts 20 minutes. We only had 3 nights, so we needed a lot more night photography. So what we did was we got up in the morning before the sky had any color and waited, and it looks like it's twilight, but at pre-dawn, which is horrific. So we didn't sleep for 3 days. We took a few naps
But you
here and
got the
there,
job done
and we
because
got
you
the
had
job
the,
done.
and that makes, I think, the difference
And that
between,
dedication,
when I'm saying you're a photographer,
yeah,
it's not enough. It doesn't
no,
transmit the depth of which a good photographer, a professional photographer, strategizes, is not just showing up and taking a picture.
ensuring success. That's why they send me around the world, because you basically ensure success. So one part is the vision, one part is the passion, but another part is actually having the logistics and strategy and oomph in place to get through anything, no matter what the circumstances are. So it's been really fun because it's been a bit quiet for me since COVID, because I was mainly Marbella with occasional travel for 35 years. Marbella taught me my profession. I came here at 18 with no knowledge of
Oh,
anything,
bless.
no internet, no anything. So Marbella formed me. Okay,
I feel the
although
same way. Isn't that cute?
yeah, the seeds were there. The
Yeah, this
seeds
is
were
how.
there.
That's why we've grown up here.
Indeed. So for me, it'll be home forever. I think and I hope. But where was I going with that?
That you're being
Right. Yeah.
traveling and
So with it, yeah, I've
supporting.
gone kind of international the years before COVID, and COVID obviously put a dent in that. And all of a sudden, this summer, really, I've had one of the best hotels in Spain called us back. They hadn't done photography in 7 years, which is a testament to the return on investment. If they don't refresh my images in 7 years, it means it's
They were very
giving
good.
them a good return.
Yes.
So that was lovely. We went back with that client. I had one of the most outstanding properties in Gibraltar. I'd photographed 16 years ago when it was just built, unfurnished. They've called me back to actually to create a memory of the place, because it's now being passed on to the next person. So we spent 3 days
Got
creating.
goosebumps. That's
Yeah,
so nice.
it was actually very magical to really create something that they can savor now
And
that
for
they've
you
left the
going
home.
back, seeing what you did 16 years ago, going back and I don't know,
Seeing
that
how
must have
it's
had that feeling
transformed,
is
and
very.
that confidence that the client has in calling you back to do that. Another one, basically a family member of an old client of mine called me to work on a cosmetics book project, which will be coming out next year. So it's been very exciting. And then of course I recovered this main international client. I've been in Paris, South Africa. So Yeah, it's very
Really
exciting
nice.
times.
It is exciting
Yeah, it
times. You
feels
also
good.
did a lovely architectural book of Marbella. I mean,
Yes, that one got nipped in the bud a bit by COVID. I have to admit, we kind of launched it just before
you
COVID,
did.
and
I
it
remember.
did kind of
Never too late.
put it. It's not too late because we created it as a small, inexpensive little book that you could just pick up anywhere and put in your purse and carry with you. It wasn't something like, how am I going to take
Yeah.
this home? And it really is the story of Marbella told by three adoptive
Sons of
citizens,
Marbella.
sons of Marbella, Michel Cruz and Luio Vasquez. Luio's an architect and urban sketcher, and Michel Cruz wrote the story. And it's an informal, it's a really
I really
nice
think you guys
read.
should
And it
give that.
should be in every
I
home.
think so. I think you should give it a little
We
repush,
need
relaunch.
to relaunch
I
that
like that. I'm glad I
because
reminded you.
yeah,
'Cause
you did. I haven't
that's a good one.
forgotten.
That's
I
a
haven't
very good
forgotten
one.
another, if I may, another personal project that has kind of come to life after 40, 50 years. When I first became a photographer, when I first decided to move back to Spain at 18 before Marbella, it was to capture on film. That's how I started the images of my memories of Spain as a child, because I lived here 4 years as a kid in the Franco years. And I came back after the transition and I was 16. For me, it had felt like 1,000 years, but for Spain, it had just been the transition. And so I started capturing all these cobblestone streets and women wrapped in black and all these memories I had of
And the
Spain.
police dressed in brown with their machine guns.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that.
And now they're really, I would be happy to turn to them, happier than to turn them than an American cop. Let me tell you, I feel much more comfortable going up to Guardia Civil and saying, "Hey, now." But back in the day, they were
Yeah, it was
imposing figures.
intimidating.
And that project has resurged because even though I exhibited it in New York and all that, I posted it on Facebook, and a lot of pictures are taken in part of Almeria, and the people from that town saw it and started reposting and sharing. It was going, "Oh my God, my grandmother, my great uncle." They didn't know that these images existed.
And that's the
And
beauty
so we've just presented it to the
of social
village. We've
media.
done a 12-page feature in their annual magazine, and we did a presentation. And for me, it was really touching to be able to give that back to them because that's a project I really want to bring full circle.
Well, that is lovely, and it's
Yeah.
lovely that they get to actually see what you did and it means something.
Yeah.
Wayne, we have to leave it there, but thank
Okay,
you
brilliant.
so much. Till the next time, as I said, so much more than a photographer.
Well, can I just say, if you
Yes.
want to see what I do, go to ChasanAssociates.com because my old website, Chasan.com, is great, but I haven't had time to update it. So Chasan Associates really speaks about all the new stuff and the worldwide stuff we're doing.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
We're,
Time flies by.
we're
Thank you
watching
so
you.
much.
We're
Thank you.
watching you.
Thank
Please,
you.
watch Wayne.